Scott Mills is set to take over the BBC Radio 2 breakfast show from January 27 following Zoe Ball's departure from the role, the station has announced. Zoe, 54, signed off her last show on December 20 after helming the program for 6 years. Trevor Nelson will now be taking over Mills' previous weekday slot of 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on the same day, while Nelson's former late-night Monday to Thursday slot will be filled by DJ Spoonie's The Good Groove Show. He said that he was not finding it daunting at all to take over one of the biggest shows on the radio. "I'm ready for the challenge," he said. Zoe became the first woman to present the breakfast show when she took over from Chris Evans in January 2019. Scott's salary for the breakfast show was revealed last year, and he's not going to make even half of what Zoe raked in for the same job. Zoe announced her decision to leave in November, saying it was time for her to step away from the very early mornings and focus on family. Her last breakfast show featured messages from singer Kylie Minogue, England footballer Alessia Russo, and Doctor Who star David Tennant. She was the BBC's highest-paid on-air female presenter in 2023/24, with a salary between £950,000 and £954,999, ranking her second on the list of top-earning talent behind Gary Lineker, according to the corporation's annual report published in July. Scott had a 2023/24 salary of £315,000 to £319,999, up from £300,000 to £304,999 during the previous period. In contrast, Scott will only be paid £450,000 for taking her place, according to The Sun. While the six-figure salary is still a small pay rise for the fellow Radio 2 star, it's a big dive from Zoe's near-million check. According to an insider, however, the BBC is very keen to scrimp and save. The BBC is under enormous pressure to start making significant savings, they told the outlet. They added, BBC Director General Tim Davie is making it quietly known that the days of the huge seven-figure salaries for its golden girls and boys are over. But it's a real balancing act since, as a public broadcaster it needs and wants to attract top talent. The fear is stars, already fed up of public scrutiny when their salaries are published, may defect to the streamers or ITV. They divulge. Scott, though, was genuinely thrilled to get the gig. He didn't even ask about a pay rise, while Scott himself recently said, "I don't do it for the money but for the love, as I have done since I was 16. Money aside, both Zoe and Scott seem chuffed that he's stepping in to fill her shoes. After he was announced as her replacement, the duo cuddled up to each other and snapped a pic outside the BBC building in London. "Zoe and I have been such good friends now for over 25 years and have spent much of that time as part of the same radio family here at Radio 2 and also on Radio 1. He gushed, adding, "She's done an incredible job on this show over the past 6 years, and I am beyond excited to be handed the baton. It feels ever since recording my first shows as a kid for an audience of one, my mom. All roads since have led to this amazing opportunity." Likewise, Zoe fawned over Scott and assured listeners that he'd be perfect for the role. She said, "Scott and I go way back to our Radio 1 days when he was doing early mornings before me. He's been a close friend for years, and I'm beyond thrilled it's him taking over the breakfast show. Breakfast has always been his dream, and what a year he's had, from racing around the world till his beautiful wedding to Sam. He's not only a blooming, brilliant producer, but one of the best in radio. I can't wait to tune in on the school run." Work aside, it's been a monumental year for Scott, who won BBC One's Celebrity Race across the world and tied the knot with his other half, Sam Vaughan. The couple had an intimate Spanish wedding in June with a star-studded guest list, including Pixie Lott, Rylan, Calvin Harris, and Joel Corey. But the pair weren't always besotted with each other in the early days. Sam was unconvinced that Scott was the one. Scott previously revealed that Sam stepped back from their relationship after having doubts, and it broke the radio presenter's heart, but he tried to keep it cool. "The more time we spent together, the more I could see we were right for each other. I just needed him to see that too," he told The Times. "So when we had the conversation about taking it forward and he said, 'I'm not ready,' I was devastated. It put an end to their long-distance romance. Scott would regularly travel to Wales and Sam to London, but suddenly they stopped talking. Being friends with someone you're in love with doesn't work, Scott admitted. We didn't speak for 6 months. During that time, he drowned his sorrows with ice cream on the sofa. While his mom came over to comfort him, Sam's mother gave her son a stern talking to. When he sent me a text saying, "I miss you," his mom sat him down and said, "Don't mess him around. Either go for it or leave him alone," Scott explained. Eventually, Sam made his decision. The pair moved in together just 3 months before lockdown, and 2 years later, Scott proposed. In June, they officially said "I do" in front of their nearest and dearest. His close friend and former Radio 1 co-star Chris Stark provided the master of ceremony duties at the wedding in a beautiful villa near Barcelona. Moments after Chris declared that Scott and Sam were legally married, smoke streamers in the color of the rainbow flag, symbolizing the LGBTQ+ community, erupted into the air as the audience, including Vic Hope and Jordan North, wiped away their tears. Speaking about their extravagant wedding day, Scott told the Mirror and other press shortly after, "We both had the most incredible day. To celebrate with all our close friends and family in Spain was so special. We are looking forward to spending the rest of our lives together."